Yep, that's me. You can tell how tired I am. This is A View from the Bridge. Anyway, this is A View from the Bridge, official podcast of the Belfast Giants for kingdomofthegiants.com. Today's Monday, the 13th of October, 2025. I'm a very tired Patrick Smith. I'm joined by a man who's going to be eating his dinner soon. It's David, my GMC. I'm making his hat-trick live appearance, Mr. Stevie Boucher. By 3-3 for the big man. We were getting us live. You know we're live because we started 5 minutes late. Sarah we're looking at you. We are live on X, on Facebook, on YouTube, and you can also download us on demand on all the very good podcast providers. If you are watching live, drop us a line. Let us know what you think and give us your comments. You might see some of them on screen. On this week's show, the Belfast Giants had 3 games of varying success in the last 7 days. We'll look back over those, and we will be joined later by Ciaran Long for a bit of a chat ahead of the 2 league games, which are up against the, let me check my notes, Fife Flyers. Yes. Mr. McGempsey, how are you?
Well, man, I'm all right. Despite what the doctors have said over the last few weeks, I'm still here. So
you're still here. Good to see.
12 years, mate. Yesterday, 12 years ago yesterday, probably one of the biggest catastrophes. Not many people will have heard, but badly broke my leg.
What happened? What happened 12 years ago yesterday?
Badly broke my leg 12 years ago yesterday.
You broke your leg? I don't remember that ever happening. You never mentioned it.
If you think of your legs as like top and bottom, so there's like, I'm a quarter titanium. As Rihanna, I think it was Rihanna coined, you know.
I'm with you.
I'll take your word for it.
I have a plate in my arm, a plate on my collarbone, and a
Stevie. Yeah.
Good, Stevie. Tell us about yours. Where are you? What's these?
All of them were football. Football, like ridiculous.
It's a dangerous game.
This is why I've never ever even attempted to play ice hockey. Not a chance.
Made of biscuits.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Stevie?
Anthony Russell. Wait, I've only ever seen Davy here, so I didn't actually know he had legs. Here we go, mate.
Oh dear, he probably shorts on. Of course he does.
Legs, mate.
All tipped up.
On and all.
Yeah, the legs are not what the ones were.
Nah, mate. None of us are. How are you, Stevie? You all right?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, a bit tired. The girls were busy weekend. My wife was a bit sick, and I was just looking after the girls all weekend, so it was full on. But doing all right.
Yeah, I'm tired because it was a big day in London yesterday, and I'm still suffering from it. Nothing, mate. Absolutely nothing. let's not talk American football because it was. You want to get your dinner? You can get your dinner, David. It was a terrible game. If anybody watched the New York Jets against the Broncos yesterday, it was a game of cowardice, a game of Justin Fields holding the ball too long, a game of just nonsense. But you know what? I had a good day around it. Before the game, after the game, lots of good people, good chats, and a little bit too much to drink. But hey, if you're going to go, you go in. And I certainly enjoyed myself overall. But you would not have wanted to be sat next to me during the language during that game. It was choice. Don't swear, kids. It's not good. But that's football. American football. Right, let's get stuck in, boys. The Belfast Giants undertook 3 games in the last week. A 7-0 defeat in the Champions Hockey League, a overtime defeat in the Challenge Cup, and then a 6-0 thrashing of the Fife Flyers, also in the Challenge Cup. We'll start with that first one. There's no coaches. There's no coaches interviews in the first one, Davy, and as the 7-0. I will run you through some of the scores for Bern. It was Aitinen, Emil Bernstrom, Alan Graf, Marco Muller, Benjamin Baumgartner, and Niels Rinn. 7-0 win for Bern. I'm going to try and add in the highlights while you're chatting. Last time we have been subject to the CHL gremlins that get us, so we'll keep an eye to see if that works. But Davey, you were there. You made that travel to Bern. You were part of all of that. It just was a difficult night at the office against a team who showed every ounce of their quality.
Right, I think this game should be glossed over in about 30 seconds because little value in talking about it. Got myself to Wankdorf. It was absolutely fine. The preparation. You heard. You've got to remember, right? The guys have been away for days. Had to even earlier because of this storm. I mean, So they've gone to, I think we played Fife, played Dundee. We've had travel day, we've had a rest day, and then we're trying to get back into action on Tuesday for pre-game. Then you're skating Wednesday, and in a very intimidating place. The preparation was perfect. We conceded pretty much in the first shift, and it knocked the stuffing out of us a little bit. Very, very good team. You need to look at the standings in the CHL to see where the teams we have played are. We're playing teams that I think we're first and second, fourth, maybe or something in the standings. They were a very good team. They're very fast, very agile around our net, secondary opportunities. They only really took on shots that were like real grade A opportunities, and a little bit of puck luck goes against you. You know, they're fastest to react to a couple of bobbing pucks around the net. Second best on the night, I think it's fair to say, against a very, very good team. And I have nothing really much more to say about that. I don't think we could have prepared any differently. It was a long, Taff and the boys, they're a week out of their own beds. You know, it's not easy. And you got to remember, these guys are human too. And this is a long travel schedule. So it was good to get back into Elite League action, even though, you know, they arrived home late on Thursday night, got a skate on Friday because you've got a game on Saturday. So it's been full on a travel day on Saturday as well. So, you know, it's really been today before they're getting really back in their own homes for a good rest. And it's only one day.
Obviously, Jackson also started this game. Alex Granville finished the game, Stevie. But as Davey says, you know, every ounce of you know, burn we saw, they've already qualified for the next round now. Unfortunately, we are now out. They're fifth in the standings. We are unfortunately 24th. But like, not to take it away from the Giants, they did put into this game, but it's just it's in a difficult situation.
Yeah, Burn are an excellent side. Like you said, they're right up there. Emil Bernstrom, I mean, he's played a ton of games in the NHL, Columbus and Pittsburgh. And I think the life just got sucked out of the Giants a little bit because that goal came in the first 37 seconds, I think it was. So, as Davey says, first shift, you're already behind. You're chasing against an excellent side. And it's just an uphill battle when you're doing that. Yeah, like I said last week, I was a bit nervous about this game. I thought this could happen. Yeah, one of the top sides in Europe. They're already qualified for the next round. I think they'll go deeper than that as well. Giants, tough schedule. What are you going to do? You know, there's just not a lot they really could have done. I think this is just one to flush and move on.
I think you're right, Davey. While you're chomping there, one more question for you. You're on mute just because you're chomping. But we've got one more game left in the Champions Hockey League. That's tomorrow night. Obviously, that's why we're on tonight. But when you look at we got a draw that universally across the Elite League, and I said was a very difficult, probably one of the most difficult draws that any Elite League side has had in the Champions Hockey League. But you know, the draw is the draw. When you look back at this Champions Hockey League experience, what are your reflections?
It's been a hard year this year, that's for sure. It has been a tough schedule. I think when you look back to the end of August when we started it, we were in a real funk for injuries. You know, we'd lost Roche in the preseason games. We managed to bring Davy Phillips in. Obviously, Hamill and Beatty played for us and did really well. There were upshoots. Brandon Whistle wasn't playing. I don't think Reid Irwin played early games. I think McFadden missed time.
Sam Jones.
Sam Jones as well. There's another one. So I think it was a hard start for us when we didn't have our full roster going, and then we're just coming up against premium opposition in Europe. I'm not sure how much. You always seek to find a positive, and I'm sure the coaches will be able to sit down at the end of it and find some. At the minute, it's difficult to look at it, and we haven't. It's just been. It was a super, super difficult draw. And I mentioned the last time. You just look where the teams we have played are in the standings, and if you compared to maybe the Champions League, you know, if you get drawn Madrid, Barcelona, Man City. You know, and on and on. If you pick 5 of the top 10 teams in Europe, you're going to struggle. So I'm not sad to see the back of it. I hope that we qualify for Europe again. But, you know, I think now is the time to start concentrating on domestic action.
Stevie, your take?
Yeah, as you guys said, Eels are top, Calpa are second, Burn are fifth. I think Breenas is coming to town tomorrow, seventh. Like there's 4 teams have already qualified. I think Zug are almost on the edge of qualifying for the next round. So just a tough one. Champions League, it can give you a big boost if you pull off some good wins in it, definitely. But I think people said it at the start. It's just kind of like go and enjoy it for what it is, get it out of the way, and then get back to focusing on domestic because we were never going to win it anyway.
It's interesting as well. Like you look at the way the Sheffield Steelers were last year, and like they did what they did, which was a great achievement for them. But then went on to win nothing more. It's how you bounce back from this. And we've been in the Champions Hockey League and went on to win the league. But it's it's how you recover and how you use this experience to bring it into domestic. And I guess we will see. Obviously, the game we'll move on to this game on Saturday. Then as part of that, you can get the highlights, of course, from the Champions Hockey League games if you want to watch us get a 7-0 thrashing. Maybe you're a Glasgow Clan fan watching in this, you do want to see that. That's up to you, mate. But you can get it on the Champions Hockey League YouTube channel. And we move on. Let's talk about that game against the Glasgow Clan over in Braehead. Let's hear from the coaches.
Oh, I mean, that's a huge win for our team and for the whole organization. Obviously, we weren't happy with the result last night and our performance. And Corey challenged the guys today in our meeting this morning and said, that last night wasn't acceptable and we needed to be better. And to the guys' credit, they really stepped up and responded to that and played a really good game. The compete, the intensity, the physicality was outstanding, and that's what it takes to win. Belfast are a very good team, and we had a good first period against them. There's some pushback in the second, but our guys were resilient and kept competing and found a way as a team to win, tied up first in the third period late, and then win in overtime. Like that's a really important win for the guys and for the organization.
Played for 30 minutes. That's not going to do the job in this league. I thought we were lucky to be still in it after 30 minutes. Jackson was fantastic. I thought when we scored the first goal, we started to play hockey the way we know we can play. Obviously regain the lead. Third period, I thought we were managing the game quite well, and we switch off on a track and let them back in. Pretty frustrating right now. We need to look in the mirror, and we need guys to be better. That's that simple. Certainly, in the 30 minutes, did enough to win the game if we had stuck with it. But you can't switch off in this league. You switch off for a second, it's in the back of your net, and that's just not good enough commitment from the group to each other. And we've got a big game tomorrow. We have to respond on home ice. I'm expecting a big response from our group, and especially from some individuals.
Statistics in that game: the Belfast Giants goal scorers were Mike Lee and Ryan Smith. The Glasgow Clan goal scorers were Brett Newman, Jason Fram, and it was Darren Clibb with the game winner in overtime. The goalkeepers were Jackson Wessel and Lucas Bryan, and your referees are Toby Craig and Daniel Ferguson. Stevie, I'll start with you in this one. You can hear the frustration in Adam Keefe's voice, and the fact that we did play probably a really good first 30, and I felt that this could actually push on to something else. We get those 2 goals in the second period, and I felt we could push on, and then we just started to sit. And when we started to sit, that's when Glasgow came back at us.
Yeah, and Davey kind of hinted at it with all the travel, going over to Switzerland and then having to come back quick skate on a Friday, then over to Glasgow on the Saturday. Maybe there was a bit of tiredness, a bit of bus legs, a bit of plane legs, a bit of boat legs, everything. I just think Adam Keefe said we played 30 minutes, and that's not the first time he said that this year. But I think in the longer interview with Mike Sarant there on the Glasgow Clan TV, their YouTube page, there's a slightly longer interview with him, and he said he thought it was the first time this season that the team's really put together a solid 60 minutes. So that was the contrast. Glasgow put together a full 60. Giants, as you say, sort of dropped off. And the thing is, the games between the two have been tight already this year. They've really been 1-goal games. Giants have got an empty netter to ice the game twice. So I'm not surprised it was a tight game between them. All the stats sort of look quite even between them. 43 shots to 41, very close together. I just think Darren Keele, he had a very good game. It was actually called by the Glasgow commentator earlier in the game. There was a moment where it was like the Darren Keele show, is what he said. And sure enough, excellent finish from him at the end. I just think, yeah, I hate the phrase, oh, they wanted it more, because I never think that's true of a team. I think both teams are out there. They want to win. I think just a couple of things got into the Giants that they did try to sit back. They maybe were a bit tired, and Glasgow were fresh. And Glasgow also wanted not fresh. They had a game the night before, but they had a point to prove after the night before. Coaches had challenged them, and I think they came out. And that, in this level of hockey, it is small margins, and that small margin was enough just to get Glasgow over the line and to get the win over the Giants.
Davy, you look at what we're saying here, the penalty shot that happened in the first period. But and as Stevie said, the Manchester Storm had been in Braehead the night before, walked out with a 4-0 win. And I think one of the stars of the show of that was a former player in Gary Hayden who got a goal. But obviously, so the bit between the teeth against Braehead, they wanted to actually make a point here. They go down, they pull it back. Credit to them. And the two, I think we talked about Lucas Brown a couple of weeks ago when we were playing. I thought he had a great game in this. The chances were there to win this game. They really were.
Yeah. Stevie mentioned the Adam talking about 30-minute games, and he's also talked about you've got to rubber stamp games when you're on top. You've got to go on and win games when you're in winning positions and you've got lots of chances. We didn't do it, and unfortunately, Clan were able to come back into it. You sort of nailed it there, Paddy. There was plenty of chances to win this game. This kind of stuff on another day, you get a little bit of puck luck and it goes your way, and you've got a stronger lead. Brian did well in nets, but Adam said, you take a shift off in this game. Forget about taking half an hour off. You take a shift off in this game. That's very similar to the one that we went and scored the last time we were in Glasgow. We break down the right wing and across the feed across and a little bump in front. But, unfortunately, it wasn't to be. That late goal, and then it's not so much a mistake in overtime. It's a little nudge on somebody, and they go down, and you've got a 2-on-1, a 3-on-1 breakaway the other way. And unfortunately, Jackson, who played really well on the night, just wasn't able to keep it out to get us the penalty shots. But you take the positive after the travel that we've talked about, and you've came away with a point at least. You haven't come away with nothing. So you go home and you maybe look back at that one after the weekend, after the long week's travel, and 3 points out of a weekend. It's maybe not a disaster altogether.
Stevie, you want to come back in?
Yeah, I just think in this game there was a few moments, and I was chatting to Mark Strange, who helped with commentary last year, and he's doing a lot of social media stuff for the Giants. I was chatting to him after the game, and I was just saying, I think at times the special players, it's just not quite clicking for them at the moment. There's a chance in the third period, JJ Pikanich, and it looks for all the world he's going to absolutely bury this from the low slot, and I think he just hits it into the shoulder of Brian. There was another chance in the second period. Kawaguchi had almost a yawning kind of net, and he just couldn't get it on target. And I think just at the moment, those big name players for the Giants just not quite clicking. You can see the effort. You can see they're getting into the right positions. And when it does click for them, then Giants are a different beast. I don't know why, what the reason. That's the chance there, Kawaguchi. I just think maybe it's the extra workload with the CHL. It's just not quite clicked for them a couple of times. And when they're not doing that, there doesn't seem to be right now other players that are quite stepping up like you would like to see. So I just think effort definitely there. It's just not quite clicked a few times for the players.
The highlights from this game are available from Clan TV on YouTube, and we move on to the game. There needed to be a bit of response, and there was from the Belfast Giants. We took on the Fife Flyers, and it was a 6-0 victory at home against the Flyers. Let's hear from the coaches.
Yeah, certainly important for us, to come out and have a good performance here at home, especially the way some of the recent results have gone. Some guys got on the score sheet, like you said, that, good for their confidence. I thought we did well to limit Fife's opportunities, and the ones that we did give them, Jackson was big in the net. So a lot of positives to take from today's game and moving forward.
Yeah, I thought we had some good chances early. The situation we're in, we had 10 forwards, so we have a short bench. We had a breakaway that we weren't able to convert on. We had another chance as well that I thought we had an open net. We weren't able to finish that. Make the other team chase us, get the lead. When you have a short bench, that's what you're looking to do, and we weren't able to convert on those. And then we dug ourselves a hole, and, they were really good playing with the lead, and then, short bench, I think, caught up with us.
Goal scorers. I'm all over the place tonight. Goal scorers for the Belfast Giants: 2 for Scott Conway. Jordan Kawaguchi got 1. JJ Pickenish on the power play. Patrick Grasso and Ryan Smith on the power play. The 2 goalkeepers were Jackson Whistle and Christian Purry, and your referees were Andy Dalton, Vitas Lukasevicius. Back to you on this one, Davey. There needed to be a response, and there was one.
Yeah, and as Jimmy Russell said, there could well have been Russ chasing the game, because Fife came out quite well.
They did.
Had to throw the kitchen sink at it, I suppose, as he says. You're going in there short benched. You got to try and get something on the board to defend, and they couldn't. And big saves from Jackson, a little poke check there on the 1-on-none. Will not have been happy giving up those odd men, but from a go here. So a long stretch pass, I think, is the Marcus Ericsson, who finds Scott Conway, and he just buries. He's just been begging for those chances. Worked so hard in Switzerland last week. Like, you can't doubt this guy hasn't been going up and down the ice trying to make opportunities. A lot of work in his own defensive zone as well. Never don't like to see one going bar down there. That's outstanding. But he man of match performance from him, a couple of goals, could have had more. I think the boys were trying to feed him quite a bit to try and get that third. Just didn't happen on the night. But that's 2 games in a row now. Fife have came in, I think, less than 25 shots across 2 games. I think it was 8-0 last time, 6-0 this time. We owed them from last weekend, and I think we've got to go out here and win. I think have we 2 games left, 3 games left in the Challenge Cup. I think we've got to win through to give ourselves any opportunity at all of doing anything in the competition. So all you can do is go and win your next one, and that's what we did, and we did it pretty well.
Stevie, again, Jackson Whistle and net did pretty well worth the shutout. Defensively, we looked a lot more. I think we looked a lot more solid than we had done in previous games. But credit to Jackson, had a great game.
Yeah, he did, and he's had an okay season. Like, I don't think he's had any games where you can say he's done anything terribly wrong, and stood up well to the challenge that Fife threw at him, which wasn't a great challenge compared to maybe some of those other teams that he's had to face this year. I just thought, this game was a good game for the Giants to bounce back, and they did. They took it and got those early goals. And you saw, like I said, in the Glasgow game, some of those special players, it wasn't quite clicking. Tonight it did. Yesterday, it did. Scott Conway with a great finish there. Mike Lee had a great stretch pass to find Ericsson. And Ericsson goes across ice to Conway to finish. And then there was the next one, Kawaguchi uses Grasso as a decoy. And, who was in nets for Fife? Owens?
No, Purbu.
Purbu, sorry. He had to respect the pass, and he just thought the pass was coming, and he sort of just slightly goes to that side, and Gucci just puts it straight into the empty side. There's another really nice play from Gabe Bast as he goes behind the goal line, and again, he just times it perfectly to see Conway at the near side, passes it back to him, and again, Purbu thinks Bast is going around him, so just makes that slight nudge, and Bast just times it perfectly to get Conway, and Conway finishes for his second. So I just think you saw the quality of players like Pickenish and Conway and Kawaguchi on the Sunday night. And as I said, it wasn't for lack of effort on the Saturday. It just wasn't quite clicking for them. Their aiming target was just a little bit off. On Sunday night, it was bang on point, and that put the Giants out to a quick lead, 3-0 by the end of the first period, and they never looked back.
Ericsson, Davey, he's had a good weekend. I think that there was a few things where maybe we saw early in the Champions Hockey League the quality that he has. Maybe has been a bit quiet for a number of weeks, and maybe not as not as stand out as we had seen. But certainly this weekend and in this game, he was a standout player.
I see you've seen Adam jig things around lately just to try and get different boys going. You know, it was 10, 12, 64 has been a staple for the Giants, and it's that line that when things aren't going well, you know, you tend to go to those three guys because of their exceptional ability. But, you know, spreading it around there, I think it was Conway, Erickson, Smith, maybe on. I'm trying to think through my head back in the game. You know, Kawaguchi and Godet have been great together with Grasso. It's just fun. And obviously Ben Lake and Ciaran Long, that heavy line at the end, you know, they're hard on bodies. And, you know, just as people are getting healthy now and Adam's able to put sort of consistent lines out and maybe just change things up and give people opportunities to play with each other. And, you know, that line clicked at the weekend quite well. Goals, assists, you know, what else do you want?
Stevie, as Davey says, there's quite a bit of shift and lifting going on with regards to trying to get that chemistry between the different lines, and to an extent it seemed to work certainly in this game.
Absolutely, and like Davey, I think you were saying there, you know, you take those three players who've done so much for the Belfast Giants, and if it isn't quite working, if you spread that out, you spread the goals, you spread the assists amongst the lines, then hopefully that's just going to benefit everybody. Now, I don't think you're going to find another line that has that same chemistry as Goodwin, Conway, Pickenich. They just understand each other's games so well. But when you spread those quality players out, hopefully they can bring, and you know, the rising tide lifts all ships. They can bring the rest of the players up with them a little bit to their level and enhance everybody around them. So yeah, definitely it worked. It worked on Sunday, mixing the lines up, getting the quality from everybody. Erickson, I think, yeah, like you said, guys, has had a great weekend. I think 4 assists across the weekend. Andrew Dixon was on commentary with me in preseason, said already from the preseason training camp and everything, he thought Erickson could be one of the best players he's ever played with. And you think of some of the players Dicko's played with, you know, that was high praise. So I think if we can get him operating at the level that I think he can, he's going to be a big player for the Giants this year.
Like, and that's it. So we're now coming to a position where we're going into league action against this very same side. We're the only team in the league not to have actually undertaken league action at this moment in time. So hopefully this Challenge Cup experience, and you're right, Dave, we've got 2 games left, home to Glasgow and home to Dundee, to see out the Challenge Cup. But hopefully, Davey, this sets us up well going into next week.
Yeah, I was just looking, somebody was chirping us earlier on Twitter there about, I think the Giants are currently 8th in the Elite League. So, you know, it's all about the climb, boys. We've said this, you know, it's the climb that's the one that counts. So we're starting in 8th, and, you know, we've got 2 games this weekend. We know what Fife can bring. We've had them home and away already. And, you know, I don't like talking about the weekend, you know that.
Right, well, let's crack on. The highlights from this are available from the great people at Giants TV. You can get that on YouTube.
I want you to be here. I want you to be here on the street. 'Cause this is our time.
Time for our guest. I was going to introduce him as being one of our favourite people in this show, but I just had to text him. He totally forgot he was coming on. So please welcome back to A View from the Bridge, Ciaran Long. How are you doing, Longer?
Hello, gents. How are we?
Is little one asleep? Is everyone all right?
Yeah, little one's asleep. Everything's good. The big,
How are you,
the big man, the big one was nearly asleep too.
Ah, dear. How are you, mate? After it's been a pretty busy 7 days between the games in
Yeah,
Scotland.
it's been manic. It's nice to be home. You know, see Hannah and Jonah. It's been a long time. Stressful for Hannah, obviously, with the little man being an absolute nutcase now. But yeah, it's all
Like father, like
everything's good.
son.
Yeah, it's the ginger in me that's been passed through to him. Luckily, he didn't get a red hair yet.
I guess that's the sort of the balance as well that we don't see. Obviously, we enjoy the games. We enjoy seeing you guys play. We go to the games and we walk away. But for you guys, you know, that especially this last week, there you have 7 days, more or less a full week of travel, getting out to Scotland, flying on to Switzerland, playing the games there, then going back to Scotland again, then coming back. You know, it must be challenging.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's kind of been unusual. We've never really had a schedule like that before. But I think as a group, it's probably good. It's got a lot of us closer over there. I mean, we've spent a lot of time together, so I'm sure we'll probably get into the sick of the sight of one another. But no, we're still like the vibes are still good in the room. Everyone's kind of the banter's popping off, and I think in the long run that's going to be a good thing.
Before I let Davey come in with a question, just one more for me is obviously reflecting back to that trip to Switzerland. A difficult day at the office against a very, very difficult opposition. When you look at that game, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think what was it 6 or 7? 7. I think they were a very good opposition. I think there was maybe a few goals we would like back. But I still think when we had the puck, we were making some plays. We did do all right offensively. Obviously, we didn't score a goal, but I think there was a lot more positives in that game than the outcome kind of looked. I think we can, with the result on the weekend as well, just on the Sunday game, I think with those games, I think we can take a lot of that into this next CHL game and give it a real push tomorrow.
I think that's pretty valid, Ciaran, in that we've got a brand new week coming up. It's the last game of the Champions League this season. Then we're in the league action, and you've just got to draw positives from the end of August to now. Everything hasn't been smooth sailing. We've been hampered by injury. We've had some difficult travel sessions, but now tomorrow night gives us a chance to maybe go out and enjoy a game, and then start focusing on the league.
Yeah, like you said, obviously the factors play into it, and obviously as professionals we don't want to use anything as an excuse. But I think looking into tomorrow's game, I think a lot of us, was a one last time kind of thing. Let's give it our all and try and get a result, especially on home ice, and give the fans something that they deserve as well as us.
Ciaran, I'm fascinated by the preparation. As you said, we're all dads here. We've all had those sleepless nights and having to kind of get up for work the next day. But do you feel a difference in your own game when you've had those sleepless nights and you've got to go skate, you've got to then practice, you got to get ready for a game, and then you go out? Ice hockey is such a brutal game on the body. Have you noticed a difference as a dad now?
Not anymore. I would say Jonah's been pretty good sleep wise. There's occasionally he'll be up once a night, but very occasionally. Early on was tough. The first 4 months was very hard. I mean, he had colic, which was rough, and those were some extremely sleepless nights. But yeah, now it's just kind of you get used to things. I think everything in life, if you just need to get used to what you're doing and work with it.
Or is it easier than being at home to get ready for a home ice game than on the road?
Yeah. To be fair, on like the away days, we tend to leave early enough so we have a pretty decent nap or chill out time before we have to go to the arena for a game. And then home days, kind of the schedule for me works out nicely. Go for like a morning skate, come back, put Jonah down for a nap, and then put myself down for a nap. So it's kind of the schedule for me is pretty sweet, to be fair.
Obviously, now we're going into league competition, and our first matchup is against the Fife Flyers. Looking back over this Challenge Cup, obviously it's a lot of games against Scottish opposition, blah, 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 going in against Fife. Obviously, you guys take it day by day, and the next game is the next game. Is there any sort of like looking forward to the fact that you might have somebody different to play in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I feel like the last few years that there haven't always just been cup games. They've mixed like cup and league games at the start, so that's been kind of different. But obviously for like the new boys, it's not different for them. But yeah, no, it will be nice to play some different teams. But at the same time, we're playing the same teams, and we need to kind of focus on what we're doing and doing the positive things and doing the small things right. And those things will help get us the victories that we need, especially this, like the weekend coming up with the league games. We can't, if we want to be in contention of winning that league, we can't afford to lose any games like early on, because they do come and cost you in the end.
And I guess with the experience in the room, when the new guys come in, we talk about this about how the league in the UK is such a different beast to playing in different leagues because of the focus that is on the league competition. The new guys in the room probably need that's something that they have to learn, that night in, night out, that these games mean something.
Yeah, I think obviously there's a good group of us in the room that have won three league titles together. So we can pass that message down. And obviously, if the performances aren't going to be there, then Keith is going to be letting us know as well. So I think even as leaders, we kind of have to lead it by example and show it on the ice that every game does matter.
You talked a couple of minutes ago there, Ciaran, about there being a nice vibe in the room, and there's a lot of new guys in there. And that's, excuse me, guys. That's where the leadership.
That's that chicken dinner, mate.
Chicken bone stucker. That's where the leadership group comes in to integrate these guys in and make that place a happy place to work.
Yeah, definitely. I think we'll have to talk about the headphone troubles I had on the road as well. That was part of someone stole my headphones off me on the first day of the Switzerland trip. Right. And I kind of had a vibe of knowing who it was, and it was one of the new boys, but I didn't want to play off like I knew. I was like, all right, I'll see how far this goes. And I managed to steal them back. So without his knowledge. So there was a few days he was freaking out, panicking, let a couple of the other guys know that he thinks he's lost my headphones that he'd stolen. So I think that was kind of a good little fun banter thing that we had going on, and to be fair, the whole team was involved in it by the end of it, because I'd told a few guys that I'd stolen back, and then I was trying to make sure I didn't buy me a new set at the airport. So yeah, the vibe of the boys is all good. We know we have to show up and work hard, do small things. Defensively, especially, we have been letting in some goals that we shouldn't be letting in as a group. Not singling anybody out, as a whole team effort. As Kiefer obviously has probably stated several times in the past. But yeah, I think coming into these games it's going to be good.
Ciaran, there were some social media rumors, so I mean, how much truth there were in them, who knows, over the summer, that you might have been moving on from Belfast. Was it an easy decision to come back again this year? Or what went into the decision?
Yeah, it's, well, my family is here now, so it's, I can't just up and leave because I'm sure my wife would
Belfast
have
several
words to, yeah. But Belfast is my new home, and I wouldn't really want to be anywhere else.
Davy loves that sort of stuff. You know what you're at there, Longer. You know what you're at there. Two more things. One of which, Aston Villa, mate, sitting 13th in the Premier League, 2 wins, 3 draws. It's
Hey, weirdly enough, I just saw the last 6 games on Sky Sports, 2 draws, 4 wins. We'll take that. So we're back.
Dear, I did send you a message the other week about my niece scoring against Birmingham City.
Yes, much love for that.
The winner for that.
We got no time for Birmingham City.
Not very many people do. We're going to keep you here just for one more thing, which is just your comment on this. We're going to bring the boys in as well. That the Player of the Month was awarded to JJ Pekinich on after the game on Sunday. That's the 6-0 game. I'll start with you, Davey. JJ this month?
Yeah, I voted for Longer myself, but yeah, good, well-deserved win. JJ had a strong month. Ciaran's talked about leadership, and JJ in some dark moments through that month stood up to be counted. When other people just couldn't get far, and he was one guy that kept going to the net. We talk about sneaky toughness. He's not even sneaky tough. He's just tough. And you talk about sneaky fast, and he's not. He's just fast. He's just got JJ Pekinich just has a wee bit of everything about him, and he goes about his business in this sort of calm, unassuming way. He doesn't talk that much. It just goes out and does the business week after week. I was doing stats there this morning, and like the number of man and match performances he's had over the early part of the season as well. That translates into getting the big prize of the AVFTB sponsored by Phone Club Player of the Month. But yeah, well deserved.
I spent the day, part of the day yesterday with our good friend Mr. Mark Brooks, and I was highlighting the fact that it was the biggest prize in Elite League hockey, the Using the Bridge Player of the Month. Stevie, your thoughts on JJ this month?
Yeah, I also voted for Longer. But no, JJ.
How have I not won this?
Because you got 3 votes.
Or are you guys just saying this because
man.
I'm on the show now?
No, JJ, yeah, good month of September. Most points in the team. I think he's assisting. He had 6 assists. So, as you said, Davey, he just does it all. He can score, but you think he's just got that great eye for a pass. And sometimes it might just be a little center and feed, but other times it's a really clever pass. And I think that's what he has in his locker. He just anything he wants to put his mind to, he can pull off on the ice, and not everybody can do that. And that's the thing often that can open the door for his teammates to get the goal. So, yeah, good value for September. Definitely, I think Player of the Month, good call.
Like Ciaran Long, come on and talk about there. One thing for me, Pick can go hard on the forecheck, turn a puck over, puck's in his feet, someone's driving in, and he can pick a pass like nobody I've seen, like a no look. He just knows where people are on the ice. Let Longer come on to that, but like again, just a really well deserved win.
Ciaran, gives your take on your teammate.
He picks an inch, doesn't he? Pick an inch.
Hey.
Pick an inch. Picks an inch.
There you go. Yeah.
Your thoughts on him this month, mate?
Yeah, no, JJ. Obviously, we've seen him previously. We know what he can do, and no surprise. Well, no surprise for me anyway. Like JJ is a very outstanding player. He can obviously score goals, make plays. He can turn extremely quick, and he's a very agile player. And he's good at both ends of the ice. So yeah, no surprises for me. But surprised that 2 of you voted for me and I didn't win it.
Next time, mate. It's the big one. We know you're after it. Yeah, I think the only person to ever come on and basically not be grateful was Gabe Bast, who came on once and basically just shrugged his shoulders. Do you remember that? He's just like, yeah, thanks, mate. He basically said, this doesn't matter. I want to win the league. I'm like, that's fair enough, man. That's fair enough. Don't worry about it.
And he did. And he did.
And he did.
To be fair, he did, yeah.
He also wanted to win the Ryder Cup, but
didn't win that.
No.
Longer, listen, we appreciate you coming on, especially, like I say, it's been a long week, and good luck in the game tomorrow, and no doubt we'll catch you down the line.
Thank you very much, gents. Enjoy your evening.
See ya.
It's goal time. It's show time. It's goal time. The whole time. Scoring goals time. Let them know time. It's goal time. The whole time. Scoring goals time. Let them know time.
Still don't know what that tune is. It sounds there's a bit of a Lonely Island sort of feel to it as well. I mean, they're shouting. I will need to find out what that tune is from Neil. Big thanks to Longer for coming on and joining us tonight and give us a bit of an insight. There, Davey, to life on the road when you've got a little one.
Yeah. And whilst my little ones are a little bigger now, I had to leave them for a few days and miss them, and not comparing it. I wasn't playing, but you head away, and they were away, to be fair, again. So Longer, as you know, very devoted doting dad, and he's disappearing on probably Friday morning. They would have left, and he's not back till late Thursday night, all but 7 days. Granted, you've FaceTime and all now, and the communications are so much better, but you don't miss your kids. That has an effect on everything. These guys are not robots, and you get to know them a little bit, and you a lot of them family guys, and Longer deserves it next month for that hit. Right in front of the players' bench last week against Bern, with just a few minutes left in the game. He just came in, just separated right through him, put him on his backside on the blue line. It was a beauty, but was 7-0 at the time. But
still gonna make the hit, man. Still gonna make the hit.
Longer puts his body there whenever you're on that line playing Lake, and it's been Brandon Whistle when Brandon Whistle's been fit to go. That's a hard hitting line. Brandon's been in the center of it there. taking the face-offs, and a bit to remind you of the old Keith Floyd Garside, Brandon, just, hey, he's there to win the puck and let Laker and Longer go do their business. But yeah, listen, these guys are going to miss their kids just like anybody's going to miss their kids, and I'm sure he's glad to be home.
And Steve, you asked the question there, and I think it's quite pertinent, the fact that Ciaran Long coming back into this side, and there were social media rumors going on about whether he was going to come back or not. Obviously, with as I said there, with living where he does with Hannah and with Jonah, it was always a case that there's a draw for him to be. This is where he lives. This is who he is. This is his team. Drawing the positives on that, the Belfast Giants have direct access to a great standard British player.
Yeah, definitely. I know you think that's a great point. If you take out an import slot, you've got a guy there who's just playing an excellent level, and he has done for years now in the Elite League. And I think this year maybe there's been a little bit of teething issues or whatever. Some of the players are maybe getting used to the Elite League. Obviously, Ciaran Long knows it up and down, and he knows what's expected from Adam Keefe because he's worked with him a long time, and he knows what to expect. I think maybe sometimes it could throw people off the first time they go to Altrincham, the first time they go to Fife, the arena. Obviously, Ciaran Long has seen it all, been there, done that. So, and now a part of the leadership group, and you can see why. I think that story sort of told about the banter with the earphones and stuff. You need guys like that in your locker room. You need those guys who can do the fun things that sometimes take your mind off the stresses of ice hockey and just glue guys together. So, I think Longer, while being a very good player on the ice, I think he is a glue guy in the locker room as well.
It wouldn't be a first time to visit Altrincham, of course, because he played there for the Storm, didn't he? In the Elite League, he probably would have been there with like the Basingstoke and all when they were when the Phoenix were there. So it's I'm interested, always interested by that element, the fact that, like you say, going into these places, the soft ice in Altrincham, the setup in Fife. But coming back to the point on Longer, Davy, and to give him his dues, year on year, you know what you're getting with him, and he delivers. Yeah,
and also has that second string to his bow where he goes both ways in the ice, and he can he drop in a D if you need. We're sort of stacked on D this year. We're 7 at the back end there, but early in the season, whenever we had our troubles, Longer went in there for the shifts that he had to. He can play there. Longer can do it all if he's required to. He can play in any situation. He can play power play. He can play penalty kill. He can play even strength if he needs to. And he's just a guy that Stevie's described as glue in the locker room, keeps everything nice and light, and just goes out and goes about his business. And that's just what you want as a coach.
People who watch us on a regular basis know that normally down the side of the screen we have all the stats, all the results, and all the tables. Not this week. Been a really busy day. What I am going to do is just going to move on to the games for this forthcoming weekend or this forthcoming week. We're obviously doing this live on a Monday night, which means for the reason that is because the Brynäs, anyone? Brynäs? Swedish opposition. They come in for the final CHL game that will take place at the SSE Arena Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Before we open our account in the quest to retain the Elite League title, with a home and away game against the Fife Flyers. Home on Saturday night, 7 p.m. Away on Sunday, 5 p.m. And you get that on Flyers TV. Steve, I'll start with you. What are you expecting from this game tomorrow night against Brynäs? We'll call Brynäs, the final CHL game of this encounter.
I don't know what I'm expecting. I just hope it's a game we get through with no injuries and everybody's okay coming out at the end of it. Brynäs are sitting like 7th or something in the standings there, so they're already qualified. There's a chance they might take the game a little bit lightly, and you never know what the Giants can pull off if they do. But I just think, another tough opposition. I just want the Giants to get through this one unscathed, really.
That's it, Davey. Just 3 unscathed. That's what we're looking for. Thumbs up from Davey on mute because he hates talking about the forthcoming game. So I'll stick with you, Stevie, and we go straight on to Fife. We go Fife on Saturday and Sunday. It's sort of 3-game series that we have against them. There was the Challenge Cup game yesterday, and then these 2 games. Familiarity sometimes breeds contempt, but ultimately we're looking for we're looking for 4 points to start this league campaign.
Yeah, familiarity breeding contempt. There's definitely a little bit of touchiness in the game last night. Marty messaged me after he was on commentary, and I don't think I can repeat exactly what he said, but on air.
But like the last time, is Marty at it again? He didn't say bust a nut again, did he?
I was on comms with him, and I was very proud of myself for not losing it when he said that. He meant, and somebody called him on it later on. Somebody texted him, and he said he meant it busted a gut. But yeah, I think it got a bit touchy last night. So Fife might come in and try to rattle the Giants again. Obviously, they've got these 2 wins over them already that have been big score lines. Same as just do that again. I think that's all Adam Keefe will be saying. Like, we know how to get the puck past them and get goals. So if we can just continue that, hopefully then it's a couple of wins to start the league campaign.
Can I say something controversial? I'm bored of the Challenge Cup. As in, it feels like it's been a bit of a slog to get to this point. Now, ultimately, we're going to the league in 2 games against the Fife Flyers, and I'm kind of looking forward to next week when we start to get the likes of the Guildford Flames or the following with the hosting the Devils at home on the Wednesday night. Starting to get that. There's a level of my interest in the Challenge Cup at this stage that sort of wanes. It's like the group stages of the World Cup when you get to those games you don't really fancy. Games are games, the Belfast Giants, and I enjoy watching them, but do any of you lads just get a bit tired of this format of the Challenge Cup? David?
It wasn't like this last year, was it? There was I think Ciaran Long said that there was a bit more of a mix between cup and league. It just seems to be this year for some. I mean, what's that? 10 domestic games we've played, and they're all cup now. So, and then sure enough, the first 2 league games are 5, and then you're saying you're looking forward to next week. One of the games next week is the Challenge Cup.
Glasgow. Well, Challenge Cup game against Glasgow.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's just been a bit random that it's worked out this way. I don't know why that is for Belfast, because we are the only team that's left without having played any league play yet. I don't know. There is still stuff at stake, which I think is good. I mean,
yes,
we're sitting top of Group B right now, but Dundee have 2 games in hand. Glasgow have 3 games in hand. So there is still stuff at stake.
Definitely. I guess it's just a personal preference, and the fact, Davey, every game is every game, and it has been interspersed with like this Challenge Cup, the Champions Hockey League, to sort of give that variety. But it's when the big games come in, and this is no disrespect to the Scottish opposition, because obviously especially Dundee, they've been taking their scalps of the Belfast Giants, and you could see from the way that the Glasgow Clan celebrated on Saturday night how much it means to get that scalp and get those points from the Belfast Giants. I'm looking forward to it ramping into the league properly. Am I wrong?
No, I think that's a fair enough comment. I think that this team has maybe struggled a little with the intensity drops from CHL. Sounds disrespectful, the 5 stars who have had our number. We've just struggled a little bit. We've talked about 30-minute, 60-minute games. We've struggled to put that consistency on the ice for 60 minutes. We've got no choice in a couple of weeks. No choice. Okay, tomorrow night, bit of a dead rubber, double header against Fife. Now, I'm strongly against these home and home double headers. We should just be playing Fife in the SSE twice, and we should be going to Fife at some point in the season and playing them twice or whatever. This is nonsense that both teams have to travel twice. It's just nonsense. Fife have to come to us and then get back there. We've got to travel to them and get back here. And it just seems to be the way they've worked it out for the last number of seasons. It just makes no sense to me. It's extra expense for a lot of teams, but
you give the double headers are the way forward, because it also gives the fans the opportunity just to make a weekend out of it, rather than it just being, we like the 5 fans who want to get over for Saturday's game and then have to ship back on Sunday to try to get back for 5 o'clock for the game that's there. When they could have 2 games on a Friday night or a Saturday night, or a Saturday night and a Sunday afternoon, and have done with it, and you probably get a bigger crowd.
Yeah, that's one to ask Mr. Brooks when he's on next time. Is there a rationale behind this? It's obviously a great bit of 10 teams, but what's the rationale behind it? Because as supporters, it's not great. It's not good for the players. So I know, what did you call Tom Cullen? that came on in the last number of years. Hated it. Couldn't understand it after coming into this league from outside this league, that this league is special and it's different. That's granted. But couldn't understand why it was done like this. But yes, looking forward. I think with the Devils in probably next week. Is it night? What day?
Week after, is it Wednesday?
14th, 24th.
Wednesday, 29th.
29th. Oh, right. So we'll go to Guildford on the Sunday. We're home on the Saturday with Guildford on the Sunday, then Devils on the Wednesday. Is that what we've got?
Host the Devils on the Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah. So, starting to ramp up different teams, getting to see some different players around the league. I'm pretty impressed with what the Devils have done so far.
Anthony Russell saying, isn't the home doubleheader an issue with the SSE scheduling wise on occasions? Genuine question.
Probably on occasions, yes, but not every single weekend.
No.
Last year they didn't
very rarely play. Yeah, we very, very rarely play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever. We're home almost every weekend. You've one home, one away, and I think that goes for a large section of the league as well. They're playing one. Tom himself. Fife don't have problems scheduling, but they're on the road every weekend. So I agree with you, Anthony. Yes, there's the arena teams probably do struggle from that, but still think on the players it would be a much better product if they could have less travel.
It is, and it is a good point. And like you're right, maybe I'll chat with the I was going to call him the New York Jets fan, but after the game we witnessed yesterday in Tottenham, I don't think Brooksy will be holding on to that Pennington jersey that he bought for very, very much longer. But but about how we heard from, like you say, Davey, we heard from Tom Coolan, and you look at somewhere like Germany as an example, and the DEL is DEL, but like Friday and Sunday. Like if you go to watch Iceburn for the weekend, you could probably get a Friday home game and a Sunday home game with a bit of a break in between, just because of the way it's structured. Saturday's a football day there. You don't get many on hockey traditionally on a Sunday afternoon. But you need to box clever on these sort of things. I'm not saying that the league structure and the league fixtures are done at random. There's obviously, was it David Sims said that the biggest supercomputer couldn't work out the schedule. They all have to sit in the room and do it. And every team has their own sort of wants to get. Like you look at the number of years where we've had big stretches at home in the final month or two that have really benefited us, because in the final, say 10 games, we've had 7 home games, and that's down to Steve Thornton going into that fixtures meeting and setting out what he wants from the dates that he's got. They want certain things. But yeah, I agree that there could be a better way to approach this. There could be, you could box clever on this.
It's one of those, you play 27 home games, you play 27 away games. At the end of the day, you've got to travel 27 times. But, do we want to try and get Manchester, Sheffield double header away, Sheffield, Nottingham double headers away, Cardiff, Coventry, so your travel's limited, but you're away, you're on the mainland, yes, Paddy, on the mainland. Seen a little eyebrow.
No, that's tomorrow, mate. That's the CHL you're thinking of.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, you know my point. And anyway, let's get this podcast
right. But just one last point, obviously, because you look at what's happening on Friday the 31st of October, we're away to Nottingham, and Saturday on the 1st of November, we're away to Sheffield. You know what I mean? There's 2 games that we're traveling over. There's going to be a big traveling contingent going over in the Friday, and then they'll be shipping up the M1 to go watch us away at Sheffield, and you could do it that way as well. But obviously, for Fife or for Evercore, if Sheffield coming here, it's better that we probably have double headers in Belfast, cost wise for the fan, and logistics wise for the team. But is what it is. Those games, as we said. Tuesday night, 7 p.m. last CHL game against our Swedish opposition, Brynäs. I don't know, I don't speak Swedish. And then we welcome the Fife Flyers. Yeah, Brynäs. Then we welcome the Fife Flyers.
Brynäs. N-A-H. You're saying N-A-H-S. Nash. Brynäs.
And then Saturday at home to Fife, and you get that on Giants TV if you're not getting yourself down there. And then away to Fife on Sunday, 5 p.m. And you'll get that on Flyers TV with Laura and with Bean. Any other business, gents? I just have a quick one, which I just want to actually give a bit of plaudits to the Belfast Giants organisation with regards to this accessibility and the commentary that's taking place. I know that Jordan obviously is doing some of the commentary there and providing, it seems to be leading the way with regards within the elite league, at least to provide this commentary for people with maybe visual impairments on the likes and this accessibility commentary. I'll start with you on this, Davey. It is a brilliant thing that it's something that's been offered at football match. I remember our friend, good friend of the show, Mark Hitchcock. I can't remember if it's a relation of his or a friend of his family. I remember going with him to a game at Doncaster Rovers at the Keepmoat, as it was, and his whoever was his acquaintance that was blind, and he had this set of headphones because he was getting commentary in his ears from that setup within, and that was in League One. You know what I mean? And so it's great that the Belfast Giants are offering this option for people with visual impairments, because we all come back to it. In the land of the Giants, everyone is equal, and if you still want to be part of the game, you can be part of the game.
I just feel that this is another one. Belfast Giants leading the way in the league. Hopefully other teams will pick up on this. I don't know what the cost involved is, but hopefully teams can look at it and say, that's money well spent. We're catering for fans, that there's a need there. Obviously, the Giants wouldn't be doing it if there wasn't a need. And we're catering for our fans that aren't able to see the game the way some other people can. And it's great that we've got commentators that are trained to give. I assume, I don't know because I'm not over the detail in this. Stevie maybe knows a bit more, being involved in one of the commentary teams, whether the audio service is a much more descriptive kind of thing as to what's going on rather than you're calling the play-by-play. It's maybe a bit more like a Tommy Alice, he could paint the picture when he was commentating on golf, for example. So it's maybe something like that. But, I had a guy, I'd sent him a picture from Sweden the other day, and he got on to me about, that's an awful lot of plastic bottles, water. Why can't the Belfast Giants be the leader in, can we have water in cans? Can we have water in cardboard or something? So I'm going to put it says about that one and see what we can do. Can we be a leader in, in green as well? Not in
environmental, green. Yeah.
There's enough green.
I said it's a leader. I'm going to cut that audio. I'm going to cut that audio. That's going to have that one. Thanks, Davey.
You know what I meant?
Well, absolutely, but I'll certainly use it out of context.
Yeah.
But I totally agree. There are elements of us that this organization do very well and change very well, and sometimes obviously sometimes little things are met with resistance or whatever, but you persevere. Like you talk about the cups, and we talk about the reusable cups at in the bar, and all that sort of stuff. It's good to have. Stevie, your take?
No, it's good. We heard last year, somebody chatted to Marty and told him that he does actually tune into the webcast while he's watching the games, and because he was visually impaired. And while that's great, you're right, David, it's a different style. When you're doing a webcast commentary and people can see what's going on, there are times where you can kind of lay out a little bit, and you don't need to maybe describe just as much. The other thing with that is it would be behind, because he's doing it through the Wi-Fi. There'll be a delay there. So he'll hear a goal go in the arena, but he's not getting any description of it for maybe 20 seconds or whatever on our. And so the fact that this is a bespoke thing, and the Giants have approached Alan March Sports, who are experts in this area. They work with Premier League clubs. They've worked in Olympic Games and stuff like that, FIFA World Cups. I think that is absolutely to the credit of the Giants. And if it is another thing that sets a trend for the Giants or for the league moving forward, then again, fair play to the Giants for being the trendsetters.
Any other business from you, gents? No?
Yes. Phil for me for a second there. I need to look this up.
Phil, what do you want me to talk about?
I want shout out to a player who got included in the save. I should have mentioned this last week, but a player got included in the saves of the week for the Belfast Giants, whose name was not Whistle, Gravel, or Dixon. So the Elite League put out the saves of the week, and Reid Irwin was in there.
Well done to Reid Irwin on his new position in nets.
He got a block on the Glasgow Clan right on the goal line, and got included in the saves of the week by the Elite League.
Fair play to him. I said, see, now this comes back to the statistical anomalies. Would you count that as a shot on goal, David?
What's the question, Paddy? I wasn't listening. I was trying to
Reid Irwin gets a block. He comes onto the goal line. He's on saves of the week. He's giving us saves. Is that a shot on goal? I would say No, on the basis that it may have been on target. It may have been a shot on target, but it's been blocked by the defenseman.
I would need to read is it blocked by the last person or is it blocked by a goaltender to be a shot on target? Because there's plenty of blocked shots that don't go down as shots on goal. So
yeah, you could my point being that you could take a shot from your own half, and if it could be on target, but a D-man gets in the way and blocks it, that's not a shot on target. So
but if there's no goaltender behind him,
the goal.
So there's no goaltender behind him because Jackson Whistle's sort of prone just right at the edge of the crease. But Irwin is outside the crease. So again, does that weigh into it as well? If he was inside the crease, would that change your mind?
My mind's not going to be changed on this. I don't care.
I would say
I'll Google it.
I'd say it's a block shot. I had this because many years ago when I was living up in Newcastle and I was doing stuff with the Vipers, and there was a Vipers juniors game where I was helping out by doing the counting the shots behind the net in one of the juniors games, and I came back and I had an argument with the guy because they pulled the goalkeeper, and then a shot went down and the D-man basically scooped it out of the way, and I was asked did I count that as a shot on goal, and I said no, I didn't, because it was blocked by the defenseman. It's not I take it to be a shot on target, but not a shot on goal. But yeah, one of those boring statistical anomalies that. So I don't mean to say they're boring. Statistical anomalies are boring, David. Anyway, is that enough fill for you? Have you got your any other business?
Yes,
let's go.
I sent you a photograph. Have you got it there?
Okay.
Oh no! Now we need more.
Hold on.
We'll talk.
I will upload it now.
So, are you enjoying doing the? You're up there, aren't you? Are you enjoying doing the commentary then?
Yeah, no, I love it. Do you know? So I'm into my second season with it. I haven't had. There hasn't been a lot of home games. Obviously, all those CHL games they have their own coverage and stuff. So there hasn't been a lot of opportunity just yet this year. But I messaged Simon May 2024, I think it was, and said I'd be interested in coming and learning and observing, etc. And then next thing I was in, and I think I did something like 4 of the preseason games. So he just threw me in at the deep end. But I said, well, yeah, you got to sink or swim, and you got to try and just learn. And I started watching ice hockey in a bit of a different way, where I'm trying to learn a bit more different phrases, different terminology, just pick up on things I think sound good from like the NHL and stuff, and trying to bring that into what I'm doing. So yeah, it's good. Like I love working with Marty. I think the two of us have probably worked together the most, and he's got great insight, obviously being that former player. And do you know what? I've gained friends out of it. Marty and I didn't know each other before we did that first game together, but I've gained a friend in Marty, and I've gained a friend in Mark Strange and Michael Owens and all those guys that I've done it with. So yeah, it's great fun. I love it. Ice hockey. I've done football commentary. The first time I did a football commentary after I was doing ice hockey, I was like, man, this is slow. This is so dull. So ice hockey is just a great fun game,
You do very well at it, mate. You very well at it. And I know that a lot of people enjoy listening to you do it. Davey, I've got this lined up.
If you could stick that wee picture up, Paddy. This is another. We sometimes have to do this in the podcast. A little sad. We'll probably play the music at the end of this. Paddy, close the show out with this. This is Valerie Johnson. Valerie was one of our own. Valerie passed away just about a week ago. We got the news just after we'd gone off air on the podcast, so we weren't able to do this last week. Ellie Johnson's mum, she sadly passed away after 3 weeks in the intensive care unit. And I'll just use Ellie's own words here. She says, we were truly blessed to be able to call her mum, wife, sister, aunt, and friend. She'll be deeply missed by us all. A lot of her own words in here. She'll be deeply missed by us. We often talk about the ones that have came before us, stay with us in the rafters forever. They'll always be with us in the SSE. We'll miss them. Her funeral is probably passed by now, so I don't have the actual details of her funeral, but this is Valerie Johnson, one of our own.